Live from Munich, Germany, it's the Seattle Overload Podcast.
Ty, how was your flight to Munich, Germany?
Boy, are my arms tired. Ha 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 ha. Let's hear the laugh, Matty. Do it. Do it. Do the laugh. Do the
No, I'm not.
laugh.
No, I feel very self-conscious about my laugh because everyone's been like, "Oh, that's such a weird laugh," and obviously it's my actual laugh, so
Yeah, it's a totally real laugh. Yeah.
so I can't really change it. It's me, and if you don't accept me for who I am, then it gets me down. It's like the people who are like, you know, you and Griffin's dry banter is not very good, or
Mm.
things along those lines. Saying I'm 14, that's been
There's
happening a
probably
lot.
people saying that right now, actually, as they're watching
Yeah,
this.
I'm not 14, but
Mm.
I think the kind of banter is that I look 14, apparently.
And like Justin Bieber.
Yes. When I purchased a ticket today on the S-Bahn, the lady asked me how old I was, and that's when my German collapsed because I was like, "Why is she asking me this?" But I think it was because she was going to give me a discount. But then why would she give me a discount? Because she thinks I look under 18. She's
Yeah.
part of the Matty Brown is 14 club.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Evil,
You should have
evil
just went with
lady.
it. You should have just went with it. You should have been like, yeah, I'm 14, totally. Totally.
Yeah, ik bin.
You missed out on a $3 discount. You fumbled the bag. You juggled your
And a bag of
cabbage.
Haribos. Did you know Haribos are from Germany?
Really? I did not know that.
Yes. And when I was at the petrol station or gas station, as you guys would say, I bought my crisps or chips and biscuits, or well, they're not cookies, they're biscuits, right? And as we were leaving after I'd paid, there was a real nice stand of all these Haribos, like the crazy ones, just amazing flavors, and I was very tempted. But I didn't want to do the thing where you go back and then pay for them. And
Right. Because that would be awkward, right? That'd be
really awkward.
yeah, that'd be
And
really awkward. Like
and
I
it's
bought
against the
even
rules.
more. I even bought more sugar. He.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
really leaning into the 14-year-old Matty club.
True.
Like
true.
really leaning
And
into the narrative.
in Germany, the drinking age I believe is 16.
Really?
So that's why I didn't buy all. There's a massive fridge of like all this most amazing beer, which is like actually at a normal price because Brexit isn't a thing in Germany, obviously, and it's brewed in Germany. And yeah, that was very tempting as well. But I've been a good boy tonight. No beer, no Haribo, just biscuits and chips.
I think your beer situation will change rather quickly in Germany. I think you will find beer, or rather beer will find you in due time.
Yes. Where's the local drink?
No, yeah. I mean, they serve that shit for breakfast, right?
Not quite,
Well,
but there is this sausage that they serve for breakfast called a Weisswurst.
a vice first.
Yeah, Google Weisswurst.
Vice first. Vice first.
I'm gonna try it. It looks pretty good, but I don't know about having it for breakfast. But I think the idea is that it didn't used to have the preservatives in it.
So you have it with a side of a pretzel? That's what I'm seeing right here.
By the way, pretzels are trash.
Like all pretzels?
All pretzels are trash.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with pretzels? Because they're trash.
Have you never had a pretzel with some nacho cheese?
Oh, that's so yank. That is so North American.
You haven't lived. You haven't lived. All right, let's intro this shit.
Hang on. Zappa said in the comments, I'd imagine you're going to see the game then, Matty. No, I'm going to see Bayern Munich, the soccer team.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Seahawks just so happen to be playing there.
Yeah, it's just a weird,
weird coinky
ships in the night.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about. Should we do this after we intro the show or
Yes,
before?
I will be a professional. I will intro the show.
No. I mean, like, should we talk about what you're going to be doing this week?
Oh no, we'll do it in the show. We'll do it in the show.
Okay, we'll do it in the show.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we'll do it in the show. Yeah. All right, bet. Yeah. Welcome to the Seattle Overload podcast, where it is the Seahawks Week 10 news roundup and chat with Matty, that's me, and Ty, that's Ty.
me.
There we go. Ty's wearing a really nice Supersonics hat. Not as nice as my one, but you know, it's nice.
Of course. Not as nice as your Mariners hat. Not as nice as your the draft starts a Mobile hat. Not as nice as any of those hats. No. I'm trying to be on my Matty F. Brown shit though. You know.
Yeah. I mean, don't we all? So not as much Seahawks news this week because the Seattle Seahawks are currently. They might actually be in the skies right now, or that seems cutting it fine a bit. I don't know. I had a feeling they left after Wednesday practice. But anyway, they're traveling to Munich, transatlantic flight. That obviously takes time. We had a weird truncated schedule where we heard from the coordinators on Tuesday and Tuesday, maybe Monday, Tuesday. Obviously, we heard from Pete Carroll on Monday twice, but he didn't really share too much. And then we're going to hear from him, I think, Geno Smith and others on Thursday and Friday, but not the coordinators. So they've kind of flipped it around on its head. And because they're traveling, slightly less news. Are you excited for the first ever NFL Germany matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 45-year-old Tom Brady, and the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, I'm very excited to watch Tom Brady go up against actual Tom Brady this weekend in Germany. It's going to be a lot of fun. I feel bad for folks in Seattle. They got to wake up at 6:30 in the morning, but also, you know what, guys? Stop your complaining, because Seahawks fans in Germany and the UK and Europe in general also have to wake up at weird hours and stay up at weird hours to watch their favorite football team play. So you can do it for 1 week.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, just because they're not from Seattle doesn't mean they don't matter.
Exactly. Like me, right? I don't live in Seattle.
True.
And I get to watch the game at 9:30 a.m., which is a perfectly normal hour for me. That will be
that's
totally fine. Yeah,
I remember when I went to go and see I saw the Seahawks play the Rams Thursday Night Football. I think it was 2016 with the debut of the Action Green. Anyway, because that was on a Thursday, I remember on the Sunday waking up in bed in a hotel to football.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Right?
Very weird experience, because I'm always on the opposite end of the spectrum where I'm kind of fighting off the urge to go to sleep while trying not to think about bed at all because it's 4 a.m. and the Seahawks are playing in a primetime game or something.
Yeah, and now you're doubling up on doing podcasts immediately after said games as well. So that that adds even more
require
hours.
Espresso, and podcasts require energy, and podcasts require things which are not conducive to sleep.
Well,
that
Matty,
makes it sound like I do something illicit. I don't do something illicit.
No. Definitely not. We do not condone illegal activity here on the Seattle Overload podcast. If you are,
well, Griff's not here to say that, so we'll have to ask Griff in the next episode. But Ty and I,
right. Griff is the legal department here on Seattle Overload, in case that wasn't made clear. But let's U-turn though real quick, Matty. I gotta fill in for Griff a little bit here. Don't give me that look. What
are you talking about? Fill in for Griff? You are more into the U-turn than Griff at this point. Griff forgot about it. You're sick. Both of you have got a sickness, but you need help.
Listen,
and I don't want to see any U-turning in the chat.
I'm trying to be a man of the people here, right? They love it. The U-turners love it. The U-turners down in the chat, they love this. They love this bit. It will never get old, and I'm never going to let it die. U-turns cannot be killed, Matty. They cannot. That's just simple fact. Now,
Don't
Matty,
try.
Speaking of this podcast and your involvement in this podcast specifically, this is going to be a very special week here on Seattle Overload because you are in Germany right now. You are speaking to us from a hotel room at an undisclosed location in somewhere in Germany. I can assume that you're
I
in
can give you
Germany,
my
right?
room number. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, okay. Do it. Dox yourself right now on the show. Do it.
You won't. You won't.
So, so you're going to be there at the practices. You're going to be at the game. Tell us what you're going to be doing. What you planning on doing the next few days?
Well, I'm very excited because the Seahawks have a practice tomorrow. Oh, that's Thursday, so you're probably listening. So late day, and we get to go see that. And Bayern Munich, right, which is like the biggest soccer team in Germany. We were saying previously where we thought it would be, Ty, off air, but where we thought they'd train, because when they come to England, the teams end up going at rugby clubs because England has quite a big rugby culture, and rugby clubs tend to be of a high standard, but also they're not always needed. Whereas you can't really do it as English soccer team because they're always there. But Bayern Munich has this massive like training complex in the south of the city, complete opposite ends to where the stadium is, and it's like Bayern Munich land. So, that's cool. Mia San Mia, and that's what we'll be going for the Seahawks practice, which is on Thursday, and then they have one on Friday daytime, in local time. Excuse me, and then afterwards I'll be watching the Buccaneers practice as well, and getting to hopefully ask Tom Brady a question. So that'll be interesting. But I don't know what.
What are you gonna ask Tom Brady?
Does this Seahawks secondary remind you of the Legion of Boom?
There you
Is this like Super Bowl 49 again?
How scared are you on a 1 to 10 scale of Tariq Woolen?
Yes. Are you going to throw at him? What's your game plan?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's cool. And then obviously on Sunday, the game at the Allianz Arena, which, as we've mentioned, is going to be a crazy early start. But yeah, excited to get to ask Pete Carroll questions, see the energy of a Seahawks practice, and talk to the players as well. And yeah, I should say thank you very much to the listeners, because I mean, technically I'm accredited via Stack, but I think the Seattle Overload podcast, and that is the thing that I posted to Substack the most. That is a big thing. So thank you everyone for listening and the support. We obviously appreciate you. So there we go.
Well, I'm proud of you, Matty, and you're going to represent us well. You better, at least. Don't mess this up for us, because if you go down, you naturally take Griff and I down with you.
I don't know about that.
You have our
just
lives
be like,
in
he's a
your
rogue
hands.
agent. He's just a weird British boy. We didn't know.
You're the host. You have our lives in your hands.
No, we're all hosts.
That's true. Well, technically, I'm a producer, though.
Oh, we're gonna just whack the title out, huh?
Yeah, just gonna whip out the title.
Yep.
Right
just
here.
Place it.
Yeah.
Unfurl it.
Right on the table. Right on the table.
It's on the table.
I was gonna smack my table, but then I was like, that's probably going to do something weird with my microphone, and I'm not going to risk that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And as a producer, you obviously know how that's damaging.
Exactly. And so, I'm not going to compromise the integrity of the show. And instead, what I'm going to do, Matty, is lead us naturally into our first real topic of the show. Transition.
Oh, are you going to add that in post-production?
No, but we're just going to leave that.
All right.
That exact thing.
Okay,
and
cool.
Yeah, because it was really cool. It was really cool.
It was good.
Marquise Goodwin and Darrell Taylor both missed Sunday's game against the Cardinals.
Yes.
However, they were seen at walkthroughs yesterday, and we're participating. Obviously, we don't have an official injury report just yet from the team. I don't know who's practiced, who hasn't, but that would seem to be a good sign for this the Seahawks team, especially because I feel offensively they missed Marquise Goodwin a little bit, especially in that first half. Guys weren't really able to get open. And we've talked about the chemistry that Goodwin and Gino have built with one another, and how Goodwin's come through in some pretty big spots. So, how big would a return for Goodwin be this week for the Seahawks offense going up against this Bucs defense?
Well, we needed someone at the airport, didn't we? Like spotting if they got on the
Oh,
plane.
yeah,
It
right.
sounds like they're both close enough to, have got on the plane, even if they're, kind of like game time kind of
Whoa,
decisions.
Odell Beckham Jr. got on the plane at SeaTac to Germany? Whoa.
Yeah. Josh Jones has changed his jersey number from 13.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um,
Man.
but yeah. So
Remember when you were like, yeah, there's no 13 on the Seahawks?
yeah, on the Seahawks offense, Ty, I
Yeah,
definitely said offense
right,
afterwards.
right,
There's
right, right,
yeah,
right.
the old caveat.
You totally did not disrespect Josh Jones on the show. Totally.
No, I again, to reiterate,
Hmm.
I've been a big Josh Jones supporter relative to the rest of the narrative around his game.
Hmm.
Anyway, Goodwin. So Goodwin is a big deal, I think, because obviously D. Eskridge is still working his way into the offense, even though he's playing like a wide receiver 3 with Goodwin absent, and Penny Hart only played 1 snap last week. So, I know he was coming back from an injury, but like Eskridge has fully overtaken him. And at the start of the season, that was actually a bit of a question mark, right? But Goodwin is ahead of Eskridge and actually has had some production, and I think it's big because he's trusted with like going deep, and he's just trusted, right? So then when you take out a Metcalf or Lockett and spot them, a defense can't be like, well, it's probably not going to go to Eskridge. We should probably defend some of these tight ends. Like having Goodwin out there is a huge deal to me, and
Hmm.
it's funny to say that because it didn't necessarily seem like that. I mean, he's 32, but he's still rapid. He had that unfortunate drop
Yeah.
through his hands, where I mean, if he's playing a bit hurt, then this is the thing with football. If you're playing hurt, like it's really hard to play hurt. Like heck, I would say I've struggled to do laundry if I'm hurting somewhere.
Hmm.
My laundry execution is not the best. Sometimes I'll fumble the laundry. So
You're
we don't
juggling
know
your
what.
cabbage.
Yes, exactly. We don't
Mm,
know what
yeah.
different circumstances got going on with players, but that pass through the hands of Goodwin was a shame because his speed was so quick, and he got the guy beat. He just needed to catch the ball. He just lost it at the last minute, and
Mm.
I'd say that's a momentary blip. And if he is back to being able to play again, like he's a viable like wide receiver 3 in the offense. That's what everything we've seen, right? And more importantly, the chemistry of Gino.
Yeah, and like they need that right now, right? Because like you said, the less attention you can take off the tight ends, all that stuff, that really helps. What about Darrell Taylor? Because this pass rush has been able to get to the quarterback pretty well lately. What does his addition here do for the Seahawks, and what does that do for Bruce Irvin's usage? Because he's really been the guy there opposite Chenna.
Darryl Taylor's such an odd one because he's obviously like quite a vocal leader and presence, and Pete mentioned that growing last season. But he's basically become a pass rush specialist. Like he's not trusted to set the edge. Now, it's probably a question I should ask Pete Carroll, right? Like, is the new
Yeah,
system impacting Taylor? Because they're still doing the same stuff. Like, if you're an outside linebacker or you're a defensive end, but you're the dude on the edge of the bare front, then you got to set the edge.
yeah.
But and Clint Hurt said, as I had said previously, Taylor can be as good as he wants to be. And
Hmm.
you hear them talking up Nwosu this week, saying all this really positive stuff about, he's a true pro. A lot of cliches, and Hurt himself acknowledged it was coach talk. But like he works so hard, he understands the game. He's like full on 100%. And then you think, well, then why is Taylor not doing that? And as good as he wants to be, well, maybe he's struggling a bit with that side of it because it just doesn't make sense that he go like setting the edge. Okay, he may have slimmed down a bit to rush the passer and do some coverage drops because he's now an outside linebacker, and I think rightly or wrongly, there's more of a inference that means pass dropping, even though last year they were dropping their defensive ends a bit, as everyone knows, much to their chagrin. But yeah, I don't understand how Taylor's now a passing down specialist. He's basically going to take Joshua Onajuwogi off the field.
You were close,
That
so close.
what how do I
Ona,
pronounce?
I think it's Onajogu. You said
But there's an I in
Jogo
there.
and then Jogui.
Well, the other thing is like American pronunciation
True.
is like it becomes Americanized, right? Which is fine.
Right. It
Like
does. That's fine.
but I'm
Yeah.
not American, so
That's true.
thanks Ty for doing that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Taylor's basically passing down dude, which it shouldn't be the case. So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of you mentioned Bruce Irvin, Bruce will still do his thing because they don't trust Taylor to set an edge. They've shown us that with how they've rostered players and managed it. And you can give it the marketing of, oh, we're keeping him fresh for the passing down. We love him on passing downs. Well, yeah, but Oshu's playing all the time because he's really good at everything. Taylor's not really good at everything. Now, can he be really
Mhm.
good at everything? Sure. But I think the only thing to explain it is, you know, the two things. Maybe he's struggling with the new system, the new language. Maybe, he was playing a bit hurt and that was impacting him. But also, is he being a pro? And we have no way of answering that. But we
Right.
do have some results which indicate that perhaps not. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And right now, with what Bruce has been able to do, the pass rush is looking the most efficient that it's looked all year. And he's been able to set the edge, play the run pretty well. He's taken that job from Daryl Taylor, I think. And so now, like you said, Taylor basically becomes a third down pass rush specialist.
Well, Ty,
And
they tried this with Bam Johnson as well, remember?
yeah,
He was the
yeah,
guy trusted to set the edge on early downs. Like
yeah.
they
They
don't
just don't trust
trust.
him. Yeah, they just don't trust Daryl. So, yeah, I wonder if that's just a physical regression that's happened over the last year, or if it's literally just like he's just not the guy, right? Like he's just not that guy, and he's not really being, like you said, he's not really being a pro's pro about it either. So, yeah, it's a really weird situation, but I don't know. Like on Sunday, it didn't really feel like they missed Daryl Taylor because like Bruce has been so good in that role so far, and they're just firing on all cylinders right now. So, um, yeah, he's just kind of a guy that just fits into the stable at this point. So, in terms of the two guys that we talked about, like I feel like Goodwin adds a lot more to this team and benefits this team a lot more right now than Taylor does. Would you say that as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, the thing with Taylor is he still does have the like when it all clicks and comes together on a rush, like he has his get off and then his ability to literally dip under a table and bend.
Yeah.
And that's rare. Like he has the rare
Yeah.
traits. And so, someone in the comments, Cesar Castillo said strip sack on Tom Brady. I mean, yeah, you could see that happening, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Taylor's the kind of guy who can make that happen.
Yeah.
His pass rush repertoire hasn't been as great. It's inhibited him a bit more this year as guys have realized, okay, well, we're going to get speed each time. What's your counter? And
Yeah.
guys have set him a bit better. So again, we're still sort of waiting for that all to come together. But then who's to say down the stretch that it doesn't? It's just an interesting one to
Yeah.
monitor because. And then the other thing as well is like, obviously he's technically in his third year, but as Pete Carroll made a concerted effort to refer to, they treated last year like it was Taylor's rookie year.
Right.
And so is this year his sophomore slump, his second season down year?
Mhm.
Because that's supposedly a thing, right? And
Right.
I think when we talk about pass rush and perhaps, tackles are being a bit smarter about how they play him and asking him more for the counter, then that is kind of being worked out, isn't it?
Right. And well, also, talking about Castillo, Cesar Castillo here, who said the strip sack on Tom Brady thing. It's like, yeah, that can happen, but also how many opportunities is he going to get to try and do that? right? Like, yeah, he's got the talent for it, but right now, considering how limited he is and how limited, therefore, his role is going to be, those opportunities are going to be few and far between. So, is he going to be able to get into a rhythm and be able to make an impact that way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's nice is obviously the defensive improvement means that Seattle and the offense still being good means Seattle's been up by like double scores, 2 score leads entering the fourth quarter of games, and that's why the pass rush has really been able to tee off. That's why the sack numbers have been so high in recent weeks. But then you still have like Nwosu's obviously going to be out there. And then on the other edge, Irvin was getting like legit snaps and doing like some stuff,
Yeah.
commanding chip pass protection. He was enough
Yeah.
of a threat in that sense. So Taylor's still going to be competing for those. So while his opportunities if on it would be high, he suddenly has like this 35-year-old Bruce Irvin who's ready to ready to rumble off the edge. And Josh was showing some activity and hustle, even though I think Taylor's presence, if he is able to go, probably would mean Josh was inactive.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to talk about the Geno thing, or do you want to talk about
Oh yeah,
wristband
let's do
gate?
that. Let's do that. Let's
Okay.
do that.
All right.
So
Let's talk about Geno.
tomorrow, Ty, I'm going to go to this big tower and see
Mm.
if Geno Smith has actually been painted, superimposed onto the tower. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I have seen that. I thought it
Yeah.
was fake at first, but it kind of looks real. Like, it looks like they actually did that.
Is it real? I'm going to tell you. I'm the truther. I'm going
All
to
right.
have my Frühstück,
Mhm.
uh, munch on that, and then head out and find this TV tower.
And your vice first, and
Oh
your
yeah, my
pretzel,
vice
your side of
versa.
pretzel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
your side of pretzel, which you
I'm not
hate.
having pretzel. Pretzel's trash.
Been over this. We've been over this,
Here's the
Matthew.
thing as well about the pretzel. There, like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of you can tell this. The German ones are really quality, right? Like they're big, they're fat. It's proper bread. Like it's it's moist. Big, fat, and moist, and slightly salty. But
Uh-huh.
well, actually very salty. But just trash. Like it's just not good. Like it tastes rubbish. Just have bread.
But, like, when it's really warm and there's, like, a good amount of salt, I'm talking about, like, the middle ground, right, where there's, like, it's not too salty, but it's also, like, there is hardly any salt. There's, like, 3 little specks of salt on it. Like,
What
when it's
what's
in
the
between,
what's the taste? There's like a taste to them. Like what's the flour? What do they use? What is this?
I don't know. It to me, it's kind of got, like, a not necessarily like a brioche bun feel, but, like, it's somewhere in that range, that family. I'm not a bread expert. We need to ask, the bread reporter on Twitter
Washing
what
soda
his
or
take is,
lye
though.
treatment gives pretzels their traditional skin and flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, the glaze element is just garbage.
You don't like the glaze element. I like the glaze element.
Don't get me wrong, I love a good glazing,
Yeah.
but pretzels, nah, it's just wrong. It just tastes weird. There's a reason they're served with beer. Because one, obviously the salt makes you more thirsty, but two, because everyone's
Mhm.
washing the rubbish down. They're like, "Oh, I don't like this."
Man, beer and a pretzel at a baseball game or a movie theater, I should
Yeah, a baseball game. That says a lot,
And
Ty.
it hits. It hits. I'm just saying it hits. I'm just saying it hits.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Gino. Let's
Gino. So I'm
U-turn
gonna go.
back to
I'm gonna
Gino.
see the. I'm gonna see the tower. I'm gonna have my
Mhm.
vice first. I'm not gonna have pretzel, and then, uh, also Gino has been active on social media. Uh, Uh, well, he clapped back at a reporter. That was
Mhm.
good. It's happened to me too, although I think I've been very positive about Gino, so it was unfortunate that happened, but such is Twitter. Everything's without
Oh,
context.
yeah, that's right. I forgot that Gino quote tweeted you or responded to you or whatever. I
I was
forgot
just
about
trying to cope with Russell Wilson, and Gino was like, "Oh, ah,
that.
well, put it in the Louvre." I got Gino.
Maybe when Gino sees you tomorrow, he's gonna call you out.
He might
Yeah.
just be like, "Not this prick."
Yeah.
Um I mean, heck, I'd think that. So
By the way, how much are you going to be looking out for play sheets the next 2 days?
no, I'm not allowed to. You can't do that, Ty.
Yep, of
No, you
course.
can't. Ty, you can't do that.
Of course.
You can't do
Yep,
that.
yep, yep, yep. That's illegal. That's illegal. That would be
Also,
illegal.
my eyes are like. I think I need to go to an opticians because like things are really long away,
Mhm,
blurry.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, you're nearsighted like me.
No, we're not the same. We are not the
Mm,
same.
mm. We're built the same. We're built the same. We're the exact same.
Okay, so
This is actually a
anyway,
Fight Club situation.
that'd be funny. You are in Munich.
Yep. I was in Munich
So
this whole time.
oh wow.
Mhm.
So Gino also a rapper and also a
Mm,
former NFL wide receiver who is one of the best wide receivers we've ever seen in the NFL, and if certain circumstances hadn't played out, would have been a Hall of Fame player.
mhm.
Antonio Brown did some. He he wrote some bars on Twitter, didn't he, Ty?
Yeah, yeah, he wrote to Gino on Twitter. Here, let me bring it up actually so we can read this. Actually, I think this is a message that I can't read out loud. Let's just say that he on the show. So let's just say that he shouted out Gino, and then Gino responded, "My brother from another," with an exclamation point.
Mm.
And there you go. Make of that what you will.
AB
Gino.
said, "Shout out to my guy Gino," but he didn't say guy. I make movie
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino, balling harder than any guy we know.
any
This a
guy we know.
throwback to Dan Marino, which I mean, Gino does kind of play like Dan Marino, both legendary from the pocket.
Mhm. So they're homies, I guess. So that sucks. Depending on how you feel about Antonio Brown. I'll be very open about how I feel about Antonio Brown.
He currently has a picture of Kyrie Irving as his
There
addy.
you go. That perfectly encapsulates how I feel about Antonio Brown at the moment. But without getting too far down that rabbit hole, I thought we would talk a little bit about Antonio Brown as a Seahawk, because that's obviously going to come up. This has already come up with Gino and AB talking to one another.
Thought.
Yeah.
So
Caesar Castillo in the chat making me laugh there. Also, yeah, I don't know if you saw Cable Thanos, Josh Castman's response to Gino. It's
no.
pretty great. There's a meme underneath Gino's reply from
Oh.
a good buddy Josh.
So Antonio Brown as a player,
Yeah.
and obviously to play football you have to be present.
Yep.
And
Out
obviously
of trouble.
we know how it ended in Tampa Bay. We know how it ended in Pittsburgh. We know how it ended in Las Vegas. That was a thing, right? He was on the
Yeah.
Raiders.
Yeah, he was on the Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders still.
Yep.
Or were they just in Las Anyway,
No, it was still in Oakland.
the thing. So yeah.
There's a lot that's
As a
happened with
player though,
Antonio Brown. I don't blame you for losing track.
yeah. But as a player, he is a great player. Like I said, future Hall of
Yep.
Fame player. Coming into the offense, he could basically complement Tyler Lockett, Sweet Tree. He'd be an unbelievable addition. And it's funny because obviously he was linked with Seattle. There was all that talk that Russell Wilson wanted him on the Seahawks. Have I got that
Yep.
correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're actually like cool with one another. I think they've worked out together in the off season, all that. So
There you go. There you go. So now I think it says a lot that I think if we'd done this a year ago, if we'd had this conversation a year ago, I think a lot of people not a lot of people, but I think we'd have had one or two comments in the chat going, "Yeah, sign AB." But since that point, there's there's been more stuff, and I
Yep.
just don't think it's a good idea. And I agree with what Cesar Castillo says, where he would definitely derail the narrative of the Seahawks. Yes, he would, because
Yeah,
they're
he would.
obviously a very feel-good team right now, and to do that would just it would shatter that. It would a lot of people would lose faith in everything, and just there's no reason to do it. We have no actual idea that they were thinking of doing it. It's just this tweet, so we're basically podcasting.
Yeah, no, we are podcasting. We're podcasting our socks off right now. And yeah, that's where the buck stops for me as well, is that it would derail every little piece of goodwill the Seahawks have built up for themselves over the last few months, right? Like, they're playing such great ball right now. It's a entirely, feel good story. All these guys, all these rookies, Pete's redemption, all this stuff. And then you just distract from all of that with, look, there are a lot of football players that I'm sure are not great human beings that we don't know about. But we do know about this one. He's not a great person. And so I don't know about involving or rather integrating someone like that into this locker room right now. It just seems like an unnecessary, I don't mean to use the buzzword, but I'm going to. It seems like an unnecessary distraction. It really
Yes,
does.
an
Yeah.
actual unnecessary distraction.
Yeah.
And obviously we're pretty positive on Marquise Goodwin. We've literally just
Yeah.
spent the first part of the podcast talking about how Goodwin's good.
Yeah.
And
And
there
so
is
like
still hope for Eskridge. Like,
yeah. And like if you're gonna sign someone from the outside, I'd much rather it be Odell. Right. And I think everyone can
yes.
agree with that at this point.
And I think, I mean, both at their peaks were unbelievable, but
Yeah.
I think Odell is a better complement to the other two top receivers.
Yeah.
I
And
think
like
stylistically it works a bit better, but
yeah, and Brown's not washed, right? Like he looked good in Tampa when he was healthy, but it's it's not about
well, you'd
his
also have
ability.
to you'd have to work out how that all like and what's his contract with them? How does that work if he was?
Right, yeah.
That's so yeah, that's so
Yeah,
weird.
so the whole situation, it's just too complicated. Who knows if he's even in football shape right now? Like there's so
Well,
much
he's a
stuff
rapper.
that goes.
He's a
He's
as his
rapping now.
tweet
Yeah.
shows. He's a hip hop maestro.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Enough of that. But we did want to acknowledge that because seeing Gino refer to that person as his brother was, I'll just say it, concerning. Little concerning. Didn't appreciate seeing that on my timeline last night.
Well,
Not great.
we all it's obviously we don't know the whole story, but and we all have we all know complicated people, but
Hmm.
yes, it was a bit weird. But then also sports stars, they're very fun on the field, but we don't know them. We don't know what goes on
Yeah.
in their lives. It's the weird thing with sports fandom and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, lastly, wristband gate. You know about this, Maddie? You know what's going on with
well, I
wristband
was
gate?
I was flying or traveling and working during this period, so I'm in the dark about wristband gate. It sounds dramatic. It sounds like I need to know. Please fill
Yeah.
me in.
So yesterday, Shane Waldron had his press conference
Mm.
and was asked by a reporter if he felt that Gino wearing a coach's wristband on his left wrist helps with things, having the plays on his wrist, having those available there. And I don't have the quote in front of me, but Waldron basically said, "Yeah, it does." And from past
Yeah, and
experiences with having to get calls in and not having to reiterate the calls, we felt that it was the best choice for us this offseason. We talked about it with the quarterbacks this offseason, and we felt that it was best for us for the quarterbacks to wear a wristband when they play.
Yeah, and we should say, Ty, that Waldron was asked that question because the interview I did hear was Pete Carroll on Seattle Sports, Brock and Salk. He said that Gino reading plays off a wristband has helped smooth out his pre-snap process and efficiency. And he said there was a resistance to that. We never did that before,
Right.
implying that Russell Wilson didn't.
Yeah, and so
how has it become wristband gate?
Well, because Russ did use the wristband for a time. At times, he used it in his rookie year, and I would know this because I'm a sicko and actually pay attention to players' equipment for some reason. But Russ would after his rookie year, he occasionally wore the wristband. He wore it in 2014. He famously wore it in the Super Bowl 49. He wore it a couple of other times here and there. Once, like in Washington, there was a couple of stretches. Like he would do it where he would wear it for about like 3 weeks and then go away from it again. Just wear the double, like regular wristbands, all that. But he had worn it, so the complete resistance thing is a little weird because he was open to wearing it. I don't know if that was like maybe in those situations just kind of a trial run, and then he said like, "Oh, I don't like it, and I'm not going to do this, whatever."
Or he wanted to try and do it without it to look good. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense because like Tom Brady wears a wristband, Peyton Manning wore a wristband. Like it doesn't.
Yeah,
like there's obviously details that we're missing because it's passed through multiple press conference quotes.
Yeah, so Russ clapped back today because he was asked about it and said that, I won a lot of games without having to wear a wristband. I don't see what the big deal about that is. So that's kind of taking
so it's
this
now
to
a thing in Denver. And I noticed that Denver reporters have picked up that Wilson wore a wristband against the Jags and hadn't previously, and he's now wearing a wristband in practice. So
so that was the other aspect of it. But yeah, it's just it's interesting. Like it gives you a little bit of a, like, especially Waldron's comments yesterday gives you kind of a little peek as to maybe some of the things that frustrated Waldron working with Russ. And that, he was having to repeat calls, and maybe that's what led to some of the play clock issues that they had last year as well.
So on the play clock issues, I think it's probably definitely. I think it's definitely part of it. But Russ is always trying to see the whole picture at the snap. And so he really isn't. He often drains down the play clock to see the whole defensive picture, and sometimes it's to a fault. So I think that's also, you got to add that detail in there. But year one of a new offense, like having a wristband would probably have helped to adapt. Yeah, they tried to sort of blend the language together, but there's still, new language, new plays. And I think the wristband also allows you to have your wordy play call and then another wordy play call next to it for your check. And for a guy to read all that out, that's a lot of remembering. I do definitely think it's a thing. It's just we don't really know why. Like, is it an image thing? Like, did Russ push back on it? Like, he didn't want to look like a rookie. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, because it is a rookie thing, right? Like all the rookie quarterbacks wear it. I can't remember the last time I saw a rookie quarterback in his rookie year not wearing a coach's wristband.
Yeah, but then, like I said, like Brady wears a wristband still.
Brady wears it. Josh Allen wears it.
Geno Smith wears it.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes wears it. Justin Herbert wears it. Like all these guys, like all the top quarterbacks in the league wear it. Jalen Hurts right now, I think he still wears it. Like it's not it's it helps, right? Because again, it's like, all right, if you only get part of the play in your headset, or like you miss one part of it or whatever, you can look it up on your wristband. You don't need because like Waldron was talking about having to regurgitate the whole play call, again and again. And it's like, so you can avoid that, and that cuts down on time. And it also, and it just also just
apparently
helps with play calling in general.
Russell apparently laughed when he was asked about it.
Yeah.
And then retorted that he'd won a lot of football games, which I mean he has. Quarterback wins.
Yeah. Quarterback wins. The most important stat in football, of course, as we all know.
But it'll be really interesting going forward if, like, some of his issues against middle field open defenses magically fix themselves because of a wristband.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but heck, if that's what it takes, then there we go. Good for us.
I mean, he's played some of his best football wearing a coach's wristband, obviously. So there you go.
He has, yeah.
All right. So there really isn't anything else that's going on. This is a pretty boring week in terms of news and all that. Tomorrow we got the tape review coming. That's coming at the original time that we usually do, right?
Yes.
Like we're still planning on doing that at that time.
Yes, I'm going to be. It's going to be an interesting one. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. So we'll have that going on tomorrow. We'll talk more about this Bucks game tomorrow. But I think we should wrap up here with. I mean, what do you think this does for the Seahawks if they win this game? The wristband. Yeah. But if they beat the Bucks, go 7-3 heading into the bye with that Raiders, Rams, Panthers stretch, like, what does that do for this team ceiling? Is it at that point like they're favorites to win the division? Are you on board with that at that point?
Well, then it's 5 wins in a row, and like you said, the schedule's pretty friendly looking. By the way, Matt Stafford in concussion protocol right now.
Yeah.
From the actual Adam Schefter. So the
not
Rams
at Adam Schefter, not in all caps, not.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then, you just stack wins on wins on wins, and imagine having home field advantage, and
especially with this crowd, right? Like we've talked about how it's changed a little bit, with the crowd.
Yeah, because what hurt them in that weird Rams game against
Wolford.
What was the quarterback? Wolford, yeah. How did they lose? The Seahawks offense,
and then Jared Goff with like one working hand.
But like at the COVID year, if they'd had a crowd, obviously that helps. Like the home field advantage wasn't as big a deal, and the home field advantage right now, like you said, Ty, is actually a thing. Like, combined with being up into the fourth quarter, they know, because of the crowd noise, what side the protection's sliding to. They know how, when the snaps come in, they can get off the ball fast. Like they can just take over games.
Yeah, like this team right now, the way that they're playing, they deserve a home playoff game. Like, be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun, especially with the way this defense is playing. If they can keep that going,
this is a big game. This is a big game because like the Buccaneers are 4-5, and like, are they for real? Are they not for real?
This is kind of a different style of quarterback that they're facing. In this
really good one.
now that they've changed things, or they've reverted back rather, like it's gonna be it's gonna be a really good test for them, especially with the receiving talent that Tampa Bay has, the solid run game.
If they put together a complete game against this team, then I'm bullish at saying they reach in a championship game.
Yeah, because I mean, just who's stopping them? Like, what team in the NFC are
so
you?
Bad.
Yeah, like what team in the like even the Eagles and the Vikings right now? I don't fear them. Like, the Vikings have legitimate offensive line issues, and their defense is just whatever.
The Vikings aren't real, I don't think.
Yeah,
but the Eagles are. But
the Eagles have only beaten like one good team, right? In the time that they beat the Cowboys, it was Cooper Rush at quarterback. Like,
what good team did the Seahawks beat?
Depends on what you classify as a good team. Do you think the Chargers are a good team? Do you think
Not really.
does it fit my narrative? Does it fit my narrative? I mean, that's true.
No,
That's a good
that's why
point.
you're
But the NFC
crumbling.
is trash. The NFC is trash
That's their
in
problem.
general,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
the problem.
that's the issue, right? Is like
And
we
look at
don't
their
really
schedule.
know.
Like all the teams they're playing are bad, other than the Kansas City. And I mean, the 49ers defense is real, but
Yeah, we still don't really know. Like, and also like, are the 49ers going to be able to stay healthy?
Giants are a good team. The Giants are a good team.
Yeah,
Although, are they?
or are they?
Are they really? Hmm.
I mean, they were playing without like
Kinda.
half. They were playing without like half of their offensive line and their top three receivers. So
No, I don't want to hear this. This is just enough.
enough. Look, you know what? We'll take it. No. We create our own rules here. It's our show. The Giants
Yeah.
are a good team, and screw it. We'll say the Chargers are also a good team.
Great
and
team.
Yeah, great team, and the Seahawks are clearly the best team in the NFC. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see when we get to January. But there really isn't a team right now that I'm like that. There's no way the Seahawks are getting to the Super Bowl because they're going to face that team on the way there. And so I don't know. Sky's the limit, I guess. Right?
There we go.
Yeah.
To the moon.
To the moon, diamond hands, all that. Yeah. That's a throwback.
Diamond hands.
That hasn't been relevant in like 2 years.
It's still, you've made it relevant again.
Yeah. I'm bringing it back.
Okay. Any questions, people?
Beat the Ravens, or are the Ravens a good team? I mean, yeah, the Ravens are pretty.
Kinda. Everyone's kind of bad. Like,
yeah, I mean, like even the Chiefs are not particularly good. Like, the Bills might be without Josh Allen. He might have to have Tommy John surgery. Like,
oh yeah, that is like obviously Seattle doesn't play Buffalo, but unless Buffalo make it to the Super Bowl. But like,
yeah,
when you saw that news, it's obviously injuries suck, but you're like, well, that's one less team that looks like a clear Super Bowl contender. If because they look like a class apart. I mean, that last game against the Jets, they had Allen had a bad game, but
who's their
with him
backup
out,
QB? Case Keenum. It's Case Keenum.
yeah. I mean, it's not Josh Allen, is it? So
yeah.
So now it's like the Chiefs who are weird. Look like they miss Tyreek.
Playoff case though. Playoff case. The Case Keenum, Geno Smith Super Bowl. Let's go.
There we go. I think Cowboys are real.
Yeah, Cowboys are probably real. That defense is really good. Also, Dan Quinn. Love you. Love Dan Quinn.
Come home, DQ.
Yeah, come home, DQ. All right. Let's see. Any worry we lose Shane Waldron for a head coaching spot in the offseason? Yeah, I think the way that we're going.
Yes.
Yeah. The way that we're going. Yeah. Well, because I mean, like, just think about it. Like, the narrative from the outside is like 2 rookie tackles. He revived Geno Smith. All this stuff, like, dude, and he's a McVay guy on top of that. Yeah,
he knows Sean McVay.
He used to have
coffee with Sean.
Oh man, yeah.
But
maybe he replaces Sean McVay after Sean McVay retires at the end of the year. Boom.
There. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Come back home. We answered that on a past podcast, and I said on that podcast that he. The only thing which would stop it is if he's just like really boring and like not charismatic in the interview, like.
Or if the Seahawks make it to the Super Bowl and he just runs out of time to accept the job.
Yeah, there we go. That's the solution. Yeah. Win a Super Bowl.
Win a Super Bowl.
Win a Super Bowl, then promise both Waldron and Hurt that they can be the head coach in like 7 years' time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then just have them fight. There we go.
There you go. Death match between Clint Hurt and Shane Waldron. I don't know, man. Some tells me that Clint Hurt would probably win that.
Yeah. Waldron would need Andy Dickinson to come in.
Ooh, that's true. All right, so tag team match. Well, Andy Dickerson and Shane Waldron versus Clint Hurt, who's basically like two
Sean
people in one
Desai.
eight. Anyway, oh Sean Desai. Okay, Sean
Oh,
Desai.
he's getting battered. Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Sean. I'm a small dude too. Like we know what's going on. He'd be like around the ankles.
Yeah, you
of
should
Andy.
definitely tell them about this when you go to practice tomorrow.
Yeah, who would win in a tag team match
Yeah.
out of the coaching staff? I mean, everyone's going to say Clint Hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
Man's a
no
bowling ball.
one even comes close. I guess Aaron Curry. Like that would probably be the closest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although special teams,
I mean, Larry Izzo looks like
he
like
would do damage. He's done some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been around the block. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Larry Izzo wins. There we go.
Well, he has the best chance against Clint Hurt.
Okay. Well, is that us done, Ty?
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the tape overload, where I'll be getting up at 3:30 my time. Woo! Woo, boy!
He's so stoked.
I mean, yeah, it'll be fine. No, it'll be a good tape review. I'm looking forward to talking about how the Seahawks beat the Cardinals again, completed the sweep. Please do follow Ty on Twitter at Dane Gunzuz. Follow me on Twitter at Matty F. Brown. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Seattle Overload, where you'll get notified of stuff. And yeah, like the video if you're watching now. We appreciate you all tuning in live. If you're listening, please do give us a 5-star review, download the podcast, and everyone tell a friend, tell a relative, tell your arch nemesis that the Seattle Overload podcast is talking about the Seahawks 3 times a week. And we're kind of nerdy, but also kind of cool.
Yeah. Cool as fuck. Bye, guys. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.